Hi, this is Maggie Hammond with Stuckey & Company. I want to welcome all the participants and the attendees for joining us on the Multiple Insuring Agreement with Data Breach webinar. I'm going to start off with kind of giving you some information on who we are. Stuckey & Company helps to provide independent agents and brokers with innovative insurance programs and very responsive service that you need to ensure long-term growth and success. We have 9 specialty insurance programs. We've been in business for 25 years, and we have a particular service that we like to brag about. It's the 151 promise. If your submission is in by 1 p.m., it will be quoted by 5 p.m. that day. And if it comes in after 5 p.m., we'll get you a quote out by the next day by 1 p.m. And as of right now, we've been servicing approximately or over 204,000 customers. What we do at Stuckey & Company is we create programs. We also have quite a few underwriters in-house. We rate and we quote, and we have the pencil, and we're able to bind and issue policies and actually endorse them on this particular program. And we handle all the renewals in our office, and then we have an accounting department set up that does the invoicing and reporting to the carriers on what type of businesses we're writing accounts, and we can offer some system integration, and we oversee claims, and then we also do marketing and training with our agents to help you understand the exposures that are out there and help provide the best service to your clients. Some of the specialty programs that we offer, the first one listed here is Safety Tech, which is for technology E&O insurance, your clients. And that's what our topic will be on today, is specifically to the Safety Tech form we offer. We also have a program for Aspire A&E, architects and engineers, and harbor guard, marinas and boat dealerships, MPL, which is miscellaneous professional liability, so anything that's non-tech related, we would actually send over to the MPL department. We have Element, which is a green energy industry. Of course, personal lines, which includes the home and auto, boat, and high-value homes. Then we have a commercial lines department that does your standard BOP, work comp, auto, bonds, etc., and a surplus lines department. We're partnered with Chubb on the Safety Tech program. Chubb is a global insurance leader, the world's largest publicly traded property and casualty insurer with operations in 54 countries. And they have an exceptional financial strength and a broad range of personal and commercial insurance products. Chubb combines the precision of craftsmanship with decades of experience to conceive, craft, and deliver the very best insurance coverage and service to individuals and families and businesses of all sizes. We've been partnered with Chubb for over 15 years to bring a superior product and service, particularly to the technology industry, and offering kind of a one-stop shop solution with the Safety Tech program. Today, we're going to discuss and kind of go into some details regarding the multiple insuring agreement that we offer, and we have a new data breach extension that's also included in this. This particular endorsement coverage is geared towards first-party coverage, so it's mostly for the insured, and we'll get into more details in a few slides. And I just wanted to remind everyone, after the presentation, we will be providing you a copy of the slides, the recording, and additional links for today's webinar. Let's go over some of our background. Stuckey & Company has over 20 years of underwriting technology experience, and that includes all aspects of professional risks. We also realize that some firms do a little bit more than just technology services, so we've included some additional coverage wording in our policy form. We definitely review a lot of contracts. We're obligated by technology professionals. We review those and help you and the client understand exactly what the contracts are looking for. And then we also have authority in-house up to 25 million in revenue, and we can do 5 million limits for some of those higher contracts. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been with Stuckey & Company over 17 years. That's where all my experience comes from, and I've actually been in the technology department for the full 17 years, and it is ever evolving and changing, so you definitely have to keep up with the times and the new terminology that a lot of the technology professionals are using today. Harry's with me today, and he will be also presenting and speaking. So I'm going to let Harry introduce himself and let you know his experience in the industry world.
Good afternoon. I'm Harry Smith. I've been with Stuckey just a little over a year. My background is sales in general and underwriting here recently. I am going to get started by just doing a quick recap of what we covered in our last webinar, which was the value of the safety tech expansion. Please keep in mind that if you were not able to attend this, we can send a copy to you. Just send us an email, we'll shoot one right over. But the last session was the value of safety tech expansion, and in that we covered the defense costs outside of the limits of liability, first dollar defense, innocent insured, management consulting, telecommunication services, information technology, and staffing placement. These are all great coverages to have, especially in the event of a claim. Now, I'm going to jump right in to the multiple insuring agreement with data breach. Now, this slide just kind of represents everything that we'll talk about today. So this is just a general discussion about what we're going to be talking about, and then we'll go into each one of these points in detail. The first is electronic media activities liability. It includes advertising and advertising services, intellectual property infringement, and electronic content. The next will be network operation security, which touches on privacy regulations, unauthorized use of access, and insured computer systems. And the last will be data breach fund, which touches on notification expenses, which is gaining in popularity these days, and credit monitoring, as well as forensic investigations. Okay, now, electronic media activities liability. Brief description is electronic publishing, dissemination, releasing, gathering, transmission, production, webcast, or other distribution of electronic content on the internet on behalf of the insured or by the insured for others. We're seeing more and more of this online these days as advertisers have realized that there are more eyes on computer screens than there are on televisions these days. So this is gaining in importance every year. So as it relates to advertising, what we're talking about here are the promotional materials that are publicly disseminated by any internet website on behalf of the named insured. So, you know, this can happen almost, you know, anywhere on the internet right now. And, you know, it can happen on the margins of Facebook. It can happen, you know, at the top of a, you could imagine LinkedIn has advertising. A lot of the places where our eyes go these days have this content. Next point, advertising services. These are promotional materials publicly disseminated by the insured on the insured website on the behalf of others. Now, here, under electronic media activities liability, I've got just a few definitions or terms that really need to be discussed here. So the first is any form of defamation or other tort related to disparagement or harm to the reputation or character of any person or organization, including libel, slander, product disparagement, trade liability, infliction of emotional distress, mental anguish, outrage, or outrageous conduct. Okay? The next is invasion. This is the invasion, infringement, or interference with the right to privacy or publicity, including false light, public disclosure, or private facts, or the intrusion or commercial appropriation of a named person of a name, which also includes a persona or a likeness. This next one is one that we see not on a regular basis, but more than you realize. Plagiarism, also piracy, or the misappropriation or unauthorized use of advertising ideas, advertising materials, titles, literary or artistic formats, styles, or performances. And then this next one refers to the infringement of copyright, which is something that we're probably used to seeing in print, more so in electronic media, but here it is, and we'll probably see more of it as time goes by. And that's the infringement of copyright, domain names, trademark, trade names, trade dress, title, slogan, service mark, or service names. And then finally, negligence with respect to the insured's creation or dissemination of electronic content. Now, electronic content includes data, text, sound, images, similar matter, disseminated electronically, advertising, which we've discussed briefly, and advertising services. And then finally, electronically on the insurer's internet website.
Thanks, Harry. I'm going to go ahead and take it over here with network operations security. This also refers to and includes like privacy breach. And this is also more for, again, kind of what we're going over today is first party coverage. So these are endorsements and enhancements that we have on our policy form that will cover the insured themselves. Privacy regulation is listed under network operations security. And this is the control and use of personal, identifiable, financial, medical, or other sensitive information. It seems we're seeing more of these types of exposures lately due to everything done online. But this would include like your HIPAA, your Graham-Leach-Bliley Act, 1999, California Security Breach Notification Act. And due to the growing cyber threat, there are definitely other similar state, federal, or foreign identity regulations that are out there. You probably want to review those and find out what type of regulations the insured, where they may be doing business in. You can kind of investigate and find out what some of those regulations are for your clients. Just kind of go over personal information. It means an individual's name in combination with one or more of the following: Social Security number, medical or health care information, or protected health care information, driver's license, state identification number, or other non-public personal information as defined in privacy regulations. A lot of times, states will regulate you have to have a combination of these two pieces of information that's been breached in order to trigger where you have to jump in and start doing the notification expenses, et cetera. So it's definitely, and it's related to the state regulation. Network operations security, again, first party coverage. This is where we refer to the insured's computer system, whether it be leased, owned, or operated by the insured, or operated solely for the benefit of the insured by a third-party service provider, and typically these are under written contracts with the insured. And this would also list unauthorized access, which would be the gaining of access to the computer system, insurance computer system by an unauthorized person or persons, and vice versa, or including the use of a computer system by an unauthorized person or persons. The next slide is actually what we've included in our form, and I think it's been, we might be going on 2 years. We added a data breach extension, also known as the data breach fund. This is a sub-limit. Again, we're referring to first-party coverage, so this would be the insured's data. Data breach fund sub-limit of $250,000. Third-party, this type of stuff would cover third-party forensics to determine the scope of security failure. It covers notification expenses, including voluntary notification. Some forms do not offer the voluntary notification expenses. Credit monitoring that would need to be done after the breach. Retraining services of public relations firm or crisis management firm to protect and restore the insured's reputation, which is going to be very important to your client. They want to make sure that their reputation can be upheld and helped in situations like this. And then, of course, any law firm services to determine the indemnification rights of an independent contractor. That's kind of a brief description and kind of highlights the things that would be covered in this particular extension that we've offered. And just so you know, right now we have a sub-limit on the first party notification expense at $250,000, but we are working with a carrier that will actually offer us up to $1 million. And we actually have those filed. We're just waiting for approval to come back from the state. So that's good news. In the meantime, we do have some other avenues that we could look at should anyone need a higher limit on their own data. This is something I feel, I included this slide because I feel a lot of agents and insurers kind of get confused on what first party and third party exposure is. We kind of talk a lot about first party data, third party data. So I've kind of given a quick description. First party data, or also the insured data, it's data the insured is not hired to secure. And for example, employees' information. Let's just say they do, obviously, a direct payroll for their employees. So on their server, they probably store the employee's name, social security number, maybe a bank routing number, account number for direct deposit, things like that. They may also store on their network their clients' billing information. Maybe they bill their clients on a monthly basis for their services. And so they store the credit card information, their client's name, in combination with some other information. So this is when we refer to first-party data. It's kind of what the insured would store on their network and not be hired to secure. And that's kind of what these slides are about, kind of all trying to give the insured a little bit of coverage along with the main tech E&O policy. So the next example I have up here, or definition, is third-party data, which is the client's data, would be the insured client's data, where they are hired to secure the data. Now, this is covered under our main E&O policy form. The E&O policy form is third-party coverage. And this would be where they were network servers, or the insured may do some web hosting where the clients are inputting some, personal private information and having the data transfer. And there might be a breach along those networks or the web hosting service that was done by our insured. And that is kind of, again, what the main E&O form is for third-party coverages. So hopefully that'll help differentiate when we talk about first and third-party coverage and data. It seems to be a hot topic these days. I'm going to turn this back over to Harry, and he'll kind of wrap up for us today.
All right, thank you. I'm just going to wrap it up by talking about the importance of the coverage. It's first off very important to understand what the needs are of the potential insured. And in my opinion, that's best done by understanding two things. The first is understanding what it is they are paid to do and how it relates to technology. And the second would be, what is it that they are seeking coverage for? Most of our clients have something in mind, something that keeps them up at night that they're afraid could come back and do damage to their organizations or businesses if they're sued behind any any lack of performance in those areas. So a healthy understanding of what those two key points are would be a great start to help us position the importance of this coverage. The second point here are contractual requirements. A lot of times folks come to us because they have to have this coverage as part of a contract, and those generally include professional liability requirements in those contracts. General liability requirements are typically listed in those contracts, cyber liability, and finally how additional insureds should be handled from a contractual standpoint. State regulatory guidelines, which is the next point, that pretty much speaks for itself. It helps us to understand what our obligations are there. And then finally, the coverage is used to protect our insured from devastating financial loss, which is why they come to our markets to begin with and depend on us to position them properly to help them avoid these exposures. If you have any questions, we're easy to contact. Maggie's information is here as well as mine. We have email addresses and phone numbers here for us to cover. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Maggie to wrap it up.
Thank you, Harry. We're kind of going to open it up to some Q&A. See if anyone out there has any questions. A couple of things I'll just throw out while we wait for maybe a few questions to come in, that we are admitted in most states, all but 3. We do not do business in Alaska or Hawaii. As I mentioned before, we're working with the carrier to get some higher first-party cyber data breach limits, so hopefully that will be coming up soon. We will definitely keep you guys posted because, I think it's a fantastic coverage and limit that we can offer, so we'll keep you updated as those filed rules and rates come in from each state. It looks like as of right now, I'm not showing any questions. If you guys do come up with a question, of course, and want to shoot Harry or myself an email or give us a phone call, we'd be happy to discuss any of these options or questions that might come about over the next few days. Again, we'll be sending out a copy of the webinar and the recording and some additional links where you can check out what the product offers. We'd be happy to take a look at any submission you might have on your desk, whether it be even for professional liability, GL, work comp, auto, things like that. We've got many markets that we can take a look at and just like to be as competitive as possible and write a little more business with you guys. We appreciate you attending the webinar, and everybody have a good day. Thank you for joining us.